Animals live present. It's too funny. Alright. I guess I just have to go with it. Animals live present. Humans cannot. So they invented hope. It didn't mean to come out so cheerfully. But that's the difference between having a vision and then coming into the space and then actually going with the energies of the space and then, just going with the flow. So yeah, animals do live present. They have no other options. But humans can't, so they invented hope. That's a quote, more or less, from a film, I'm thinking of ending things. Yeah. I didn't really enjoy watching that film, but I've seen it. I watched it. I forced myself to watch it. And that's pretty much the quality of the energy that I'm picking up on here for this painting. That I've seen something, but I don't like it. You've been through something, but you don't like it. And then there is something, there's like a landing place. Oh, it has to be perfectly in the middle like this, okay. There's a landing space of that energy where it goes in one direction into a space of acceptance. Sometimes life shows you movies that you don't like. It's not that you don't like the movies, but it's, sometimes it's difficult to watch them. Sometimes you don't really like everything you see. You don't like the actors, you don't like their acting, you don't like the atmosphere of the film. Whatever it is that you don't like about a film that you're watching, speaking metaphorically about any life chapter, episode of your life that you're going through or that you went through. Sometimes they're just like, yeah, I don't like it, but I've seen it. So now I have that experience encoded into my field, and now we're moving forward, right? And then there's also another part of that landing field where it's kind of like a little bit of like looking back over your shoulder and being like, yeah, but why? Why? Why did it have to happen this way? Why did they have to make a film like that? Why did they have to make a film in this particular way and not any other way? Why did things need to happen in a certain way? Why did you have to go through certain things? And then I'm seeing the word why being written. Where why is going in those two directions. One is the acceptance, and the other one keeps multiplying itself. It's like, it's a never-ending why. It's like a why multiplies itself into another why, and then into another why, into another why, and then it goes in the other side into a why, and why, and why. And it just keeps spreading itself like a family tree. And eventually it comes back into the family tree. And I'm seeing the potential of being even amused, entertained, but actually stuck in this why land of constantly looking for answers to questions that you didn't even know you have. You just kind of find them on the way. You find one question and then you find another one and another one and another one and another one. And I see that potential of being stuck there for years. And then on the flip side, of course, there's this space of acceptance. Of like, yeah, I've seen something I don't like and oh well. There is this energy of overlapping life chapters where something ended, you didn't really like it, you didn't like what you've seen, but you also kind of like, you're already pulled into a new life chapter, and then from the new life chapter you have a feeling that you still need to clean up the last old chapter, and while you're cleaning up the new chapter you're being pulled into the new chapter, and not just one but like multiple at the same time. It's kind of this feeling of everything happening all at once in a bit of a more chaotic way. It feels very, oh no, it feels very dark red. If I would have something that, yeah, if I would have something dark red today, I would wear it, but I don't have anything. And then from encountering that new life chapter, there comes this need to clean up the old one. And then in the cleaning up of the old one, there is this need to make it ceremonial, to give it time and space to unfold into its end, to honor it, to cherish it, to write a song about it, to make a painting about it. I don't know, write something on a tombstone. Make a ritual out of it. End it properly. That's what I'm getting. Like, give it time and space and honor it. Allow it to die out, to end. Make peace with it. And then there is also the energy of the Aries season of like, no, we're done. You might as well just end abruptly, without any ritual, without any closing. In the film, I think I should better say, in my experience of watching the film, I've experienced this boredom that I rarely experience because I don't believe in boredom. I think whenever you are bored, you're just being not present enough. I think boredom in some cases is also arrogance that comes from not appreciating being alive, being right here, right now, not appreciating anything, judging reality as something that is not good enough for you in your standards of how you need to be entertained in order to be present. Which just speaks to me about the calibration of presence that you have. So if I hear somebody that is complaining about how bored they are, it basically just tells me how unable to be fully, deeply present they are. But this film was a little bit boring. I noticed. I started watching and then, I expected there would be something going on. And then a few minutes in, nothing really landed in that expectation. And then my mind went somewhere else, all over the place. And I noticed how I got lost all over the place. And then I made a conclusion. Oh, this film is boring. And I watched it. I kept being there. And as I kept watching the film, my mind went into what else could I be doing with my with my time and attention and my energy. What else would I be doing if I don't want to watch this film? My mind went all over the space and then went back into the film and figured out I don't know what else to do, so I keep watching the film. And I don't like it. I don't like what I'm watching, but I keep watching it. And then I'm thinking about ending watching the film, even if I don't know what else should I be doing with my time and energy. And then I hear the main character saying, I'm thinking about ending things. That's the title of the film. And then I'm thinking, oh wow, look at the synchronicity, I'm also thinking about ending this. And then I keep watching. And I keep watching. And I'm still thinking about ending watching the film, but I keep watching. And eventually I realized that even though I just spent more than 5 minutes thinking about not wanting to watch the film and how boring it is and how I would like to stop watching the film and do something else, and I don't know what else to do, but I want to do something else because I don't want to watch the film. Despite everything, I'm still watching the film. And then I realized, but wait a second, this film has something. It holds me. Even though I don't like it, even though I'm judging it, even though I'm not fully present with it, it holds me. So maybe it has something. It has something that keeps me there. It's not fully repulsive. It has my attention at the time when I'm thinking about that. It doesn't have my attention. It does. And then I noticed that quality of that film, that it holds me there. And that perhaps it's not that bad. Perhaps it's my focus and attention that is being all over the place and scattered and not pointed, not still. Perhaps it's not the film, perhaps it's me. And then I open myself to be more present, and I dive into the film, and then I entertain the thought that perhaps maybe I really like this film, I just don't know it yet. And so I come closer to it and I watch it. And then I'm just, I wouldn't say disappointed, but I just come back to the conclusion of, this is boring. I want to stop watching it. And then I stop. And that experience of me watching that film is pretty much the experience that the main character is also going through in the film. So she is in a car with her boyfriend going to meet his parents, and she doesn't really want to be there. She doesn't really want to be in that relationship. She doesn't really want to see his parents. She's thinking about ending things. And there's this beautiful part of the film where she gets to, not just she, but also her boyfriend, they get to tell a story of how they met. And that story gets repeated over and over again throughout the film. And it starts as something that is really funny to tell. She's laughing when she's telling the story, and she seems to be having fun remembering it. And then every time when she says it again and again, and when she thinks about it, and when he starts telling his side of the story changes. And eventually it shifts in one part of the film where she finally loses ability to pretend and starts being really real and very honest. And says something like, I'll try to quote it, but I don't remember exactly the lyrics of the film. But she says something like, I met him because it's easy to say yes. And it's easy to say yes because I wasn't taught to say no. It's easier to say yes. Can I have your number? Yes. Can I see you again? Yes. Do you want to meet my parents? Yes. But deep down inside, the answer was actually no. It was a hardcore no. She thought he was a creep. But she said yes. And that's the moment when she got into this field of radical honesty. And that was such a refreshing moment of the film. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled watching the film till the very end. But that was the most raw, honest, refreshing part of the film that actually resonates with the energy that I'm experiencing and picking up also here for this painting. Radical honesty. It looks bloody though. Yeah, it is bloody. because it kills any fake possibility that things would just keep being nice and polite, because we were taught that you need to be nice and polite no matter what. And so if there was an illusionary place, a bubble, an energy field built based upon being nice, being polite, not wanting to be too much, not wanting to say something that might disturb somebody. If there was anything like that built, and sometimes, you know, the whole family systems are built on that, the whole relationships are built, jobs are built on that, workspaces, I don't know. Should I include art? Is there any art that is built based on being nice? Yeah, probably. Just don't talk about it. But there are so many structures built upon being nice, and how easier it is to just laugh it off. You really don't want to be there, but you're like, it's okay, I will come. Yay, looking forward. Or you really don't want to talk to that person, but you're like, hey, good to see you. That when you come to that place of having way too much of being in spaces and energies like this, eventually that bubble just explodes somehow. There is like a needle that comes from one direction or the other and just like blows it away. And then you get into this radical honesty, which isn't the energy where it's not the energy of practice. It's not something that you would be like, okay, well, now I feel inspired to be radically honest to everybody and everything around me, so I'm just gonna practice it. You know, from tomorrow I'm just gonna be radically honest. I don't care about if somebody gets offended or not. I'm just gonna be radically honest. It's not that. You can try it. It's gonna be scary. Unless you're already naturally a person that speaks their mind without any hesitation. In that case, good for you. But there are some of us that were really thought that we have to keep our mouth shut and really curate exactly what we want to say, how we want to say it, and when we want to say it, because we don't want to do anything that might disturb somebody else. This radical honesty comes as a volcano, as something that erupts. It's just something you cannot control. It's something you're not planning. It's something you can't just integrate into your life because you found somebody talking about it. It's something that comes like a fire. And it literally burns away anything that has been false and in place for quite some time. It makes you tell things that you would have told maybe even 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, a month ago. It doesn't matter, like time span, really. And now you say them. Now you have not ability to say, but you have zero ability to not say. It just kind of, it comes out like a fire that you just can't stop. And so you say things you mean to say. You do things you mean to do. You put yourself in places where normally those places would be kind of like a little rooms inside of your head in the fantasy land, where you would go occasionally and you would be like, oh wow, if only this and that could happen, wouldn't that be amazing? Now you're actually making those things. Those little rooms of your fantasy land are your reality now. You're making them, you're walking, you're having that talk. You're stating those boundaries, you're putting those requirements out there. You're actually doing something for it, because you're honest first and foremost with yourself. that radical honesty isn't always necessarily about saying something to somebody else. Like, it is. It does mean that. But it's also honesty with yourself. Some time ago, I've been painting a painting called "What is the most true for you?" I think it was actually called "The Truth." And I was really surprised to find out that not everybody can answer that question for themselves. Like, what is the most true for you right now? Like, in this very moment. Pause the video and try to answer it for yourself. But when you come to that radical honesty, it's like you have no other choice but to listen exactly that which is the most true for you right now in this moment. And it's really uncomfortable sometimes. Of course, I think that's kind of like by default, it kind of has to be uncomfortable. Because I was like following this, what is the most true for you in this moment, I didn't want to come into this space until I feel like being here is the true for me. The truth. The most truthful for me. I didn't want to make myself come here when I didn't feel like being here, when I didn't really want to be here. I waited for the day when I felt like I can't wait to be here again. And you know, like less than 2 weeks, I think it's been a 2-week period since the last video on this channel. And at the beginning, honestly, I didn't know if I'm gonna come to that day ever. I didn't mean to quit. I did try to film, but it didn't feel honest to me. Or if it did feel honest, there was always something that just didn't feel right, and I didn't want to push myself to be here. I wanted to come here honestly. I wanted to want to be here. And that day came. So when you're radically honest to yourself, and when you're radically honest to other people, and you say things that you really mean, you say things that you really want, and you say things that... It's not even about saying you do things, you remove yourself if you have to, and you put yourself where you really have to be. Suddenly there are so many empty spaces. So many empty spaces. Because things do fall apart. Like everything that is based on you not being radically honest falls apart, falls away, blurs itself until it fades away. Suddenly there is time, there is space. And you don't force yourself to do something that isn't true to you. You have time. You can do something else. You can not meet that person. You can take yourself somewhere where you really want to go. Or you have that abstract, liminal, empty space that you now get to recreate somehow with yourself. You can do something else, and you realize the potential of it actually is that if you ever ask for you know how like you have those like life chapters and moments in time and days and ever when you think like, oh my god, if I only had like more time in a day, if I only had like more hours in a day, then I would be doing this and that. And when you become like radically honest to yourself, where do you actually want to invest your energy and time and space and where not, suddenly that space, that time, that extra time appears. And then you get a chance to do those things that somehow previously you didn't have time for. Speaking of time, there's another quote I wrote down here from from the film. People like to think of themselves as points moving through time, but I think it's probably the opposite. We are stationary, and time passes through us, flowing like cold wind, stealing our heat, leaving us trapped and frozen and, I don't know, dead. I really like it. I think that's one of the good points of the film, is there's so many quotable sentences and conversations that are really, I think that's to me like something that I appreciated the most in the film. Ah, that was painful. Yeah, their conversations are very poetic, are very theatrical. Yeah. But of course, if you're using the lack of time as an excuse for avoiding people you don't want to see because that's what's radical honesty to you, please, by all means, keep doing it. But that empty space that gets created, that empty space that gets created is the space where you can experience something new, even if it's just sadness. Because maybe you haven't felt that particular sadness, not like sadness in general, not the mental concept of sadness, but sadness from being radically honest or experiencing radical honesty from somebody else. It's easy to be sad in the world for whatever reason, but then to experience sadness because somebody finally had guts to tell you, hey, I don't want to spend my time with you. Or the sadness of the sadness that you experience after you become radically honest and you say something that you really meant to say and you realize that you could have done that ages ago, but you kept yourself stuck for ages because it was easier to say yes. It was easier to stay silent and polite rather than be honest. It's not even about sadness, you see. There's like an empty space. That on the other side of sadness it can be filled with a bunch of new experiences. I remember, if I remember correctly, last time when I was in this space, which was 2 weeks ago or something like that, there was this energy of ease. It was easy to connect with new people. It was easy to connect. It was easy to be in new spaces. It was easy to form new habits. It was easy to find new interests. It was easy to, I don't know exactly what was easy. I didn't really check what was the last painting, but I remember that there was the energy of ease. And I remember, now I'm not really sure if I remember it clearly, but I remember that vision of a flower, and I remember that I didn't know the name of the flower, but it was daisy. The flower that has petals all over itself. And even though it's been 2 weeks approximately from the last time when I posted a video, now 2 weeks later, I feel like I'm just connecting with that energy as if nothing really happened in the meantime, as if it was yesterday. And in that empty space that happens as a result of radical honesty, there's space for that ease. And I see that ease multiplying. Just like if a daisy has like one row of petals, they now multiply themselves, and I think they turn into something like a dahlia. A flower that has petals all over itself. It's not just one row, it's very undefined how many rows are they, but it's like full of petals. Because each new ease breeds another ease, and another one, and another one, and another one. And the more you sink into that new ease, the more new ease there is. Just like the Y from the beginning of the painting multiplied itself, that's how ease also multiplies itself. And then when you get into that energy of ease, of new things, putting yourself in places, in situations, in energies that where you actually do vibrate more, where there is an actual resonance, there is ease. And as you enter those spaces and you start noticing more and more ease, you start noticing it in other people, in places. It's as easy as walking down the street where you walk usually, and you know the street already. Maybe you live here, it's like you know what's in the street, you know exactly the names of the restaurants, you know when they're open, you know what type of food they serve, you know it. But now when you're in this new space of ease, like even though, yes, you know it, yes, you live here, yes, you've seen this 1,000 times, but now as you're in this energy of ease, you're passing by a restaurant, and then you notice somebody else's ease. The ease of them sharing their meal together. You notice the ease of the restaurant of the atmosphere in the restaurants. You notice the ease with which the waiter is working there. You notice what an easy atmosphere it has, and what an inviting place it is for you when you feel easy. If you never felt easy, if most of the time you just feel lost in your head and caught up in your thoughts and slightly anxious and maybe trying to survive whatever is going on in your head, you're passing next to that restaurant 1,000 times and you never feel invited to come and sit and eat inside. You never feel how easy it would be to feel easy inside. So there is that ease that is being created by radical honesty. And that ease is also speed. I don't know if I should hold Aries season anyhow accountable for this energy here, but I think I should. Because Aries have this quality of being very quick, very quick, and they know exactly what they want, they know how to get it, and there's nothing in there's no complications in between. That's what I like about Aries people and Aries season, is that things are very uncomplicated. Way much more than a Scorpio is comfortable with it. Things happen quickly. That also comes with this energy. I'm seeing like the image of arrows being pointed in all possible directions. Being spontaneous, changing directions, thinking on the go. But changing directions based on what's really honest and true for you in any given moment. If something really doesn't feel aligned correctly, you're not going to force yourself to be in it. You're going to be honest. There's one more quote I found interesting in film. There seems to be a certain hardness that comes with a certain kind of pretty. And maybe they suffer too, the pretty ones. I don't know. Maybe the prettiness caused them suffering. Completely unrelated to the painting, but I really like the quote, so I wrote it down. I'm thinking of ending this. Yep. Life chapters overlapping. The new one is taking over while the old one is still in the background. I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for being here. By the way, I wanted to say last week I had a pleasure to create a personal painting, and it reminded me, because in recent months I didn't really have a lot of personal paintings because I was doing a lot of collective paintings, but it reminded me what an absolute pleasure it is to do a personal painting. To me personally, that's something that I enjoy doing the most, because it allows me to tune really deeply into the energy and feel into it and take time and space and really allow it to unfold naturally, organically into a painting and reveal itself through time that is longer than something a little bit less than an hour. That said, if you would like to support the channel and my work, the best way to do so would be to get a personal painting. I would absolutely love that. The link for that is in the description, you can check it out. Other than that, thank you for being here. Ciao.